Hello everybody, I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. This is AfriPost and welcome to today's video. Now, over the past few weeks, there has been this continuous debate in the United States about the need to reform the police system. This comes in the heat of the recent shooting of one Sonya Massey, who was a black lady that called for police help when she thought that there was an intruder in her house. And the sheriff deputy that came to her rescue ended up killing her instead of protecting her. So this is something that has really elicited a lot of debates in major public spaces within the American system. And it is something that I also want to lend my voice to. And in today's video, I want us to listen to responses from white people. Especially there is this lady who is a white cop that is calling out the event and the activities that took place. And she is saying that there is no space for police brutality in the system. She is a cop, but she's really condemning everything that this sheriff deputy did and ended up killing a very, very innocent lady. This has called into question the disparity within police shootings, especially when it comes to blacks and whites. And before we go deeper into it, let's listen to this female cop calling out her peers against using excessive force towards black people and also the need for them to be responsible when handling incidences like the one of Sonya Massey.
Hi, white woman cop here. I just want to talk about Sonya Massey. I've been in law enforcement 7 years and I have seen a lot of fucking bullshit. And I'm telling you right now, that video of that officer unaliving that poor woman is fucking disgusting. As a cop, I am completely disgusted with not only my duty and my profession right now, but all my other law enforcement officers who are refusing to speak out against this. I mean, this goes beyond a law enforcement. This goes to a humanity factor. This officer went into the situation wanting to kill someone. Why are there not more officers speaking out against this? That is not what I signed up to do this job for. And any cop that does not speak out against this is just as guilty. In fact, we should be the first ones speaking out against our own people that are doing this stuff. This is murder. Yeah, it's murder. When I signed up to be a law enforcement officer, it was to protect and serve my community. It was to get to know my community. It was to help my community, to better my community, to make sure my people were safe. That's why I signed up. So you're telling me right now that a pot of boiling water is a threat to you? That's I cannot fathom. Because again, this wasn't about a woman with a pot, was it? This was a race-related issue. I'm absolutely disgusted. Disgusted. I'm so sorry. Sonya Massey deserved better, and I will say her name. Justice for Sonya Massey. We failed you. As law enforcement, we absolutely failed you. We failed your family. We just failed. Some days I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to be a part of this system. Because I care about people and I want to help people. I do not want to harm anyone. And if you go into this profession with some idea of grandeur, like you want to be a hero, you don't need to be here. And now all the work that us good officers do to try to bring our community together to make them not fear us, well, guess what? It's all gone because of that asshole. And I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to make him famous. He's nobody. He's dirt underneath my boot.
Yeah, I'm okay. The bitch was fucking crazy though. The bitch was crazy though. That's what Officer Grayson said when he left Sonya Massey's house after literally executing her in point-blank range. This poor woman phoned the police because she was worried about a burglar. They arrive at her house and only one of the officers have their camera on. Officer Grayson turned his camera off before going into this woman's home, and he only turned it back on after literally fucking murdering her. And I'm not going to share the video or even implore my followers to watch it because it is traumatizing, but as someone who has watched it, you say, put the pot down or I'll shoot you in the head, and she puts the pot down and you shoot her anyway. What is a pot of boiling water going to do? Be so serious. As like British people, can you even fathom an officer entering your home and you're holding a pot of boiling water and he shoots you in the fucking head? And the reason why you know that none of this can be reformed is the fact that he was fired from five different stations prior to being picked up at this one. He has cycled through 5 different police stations in 4 years with 2 different DUIs, and he was still hired without any kind of background check. And as she opened the door, she literally said, "I love y'all, thank y'all for coming. Don't hurt me, like you're not gonna hurt me, right?" And he literally says, "Why would we hurt you? You phoned us." I read earlier that apparently the family didn't even know that it was an officer involved in the shooting. They told the family that it was self-inflicted, that she'd killed herself, and they just happened to be there. That, paired with the fact that he told everyone outside waiting that she's fucking crazy, shows that this was planned, so that this was thought out, literally covering your fucking tracks. He went in and asked her if she had any mental health issues. She asked her what, like, "Oh, why aren't you opening the door?" He was so agitated before he went in. And then after the fact, insinuating that she's fucking crazy when you yourself just actually fucking murdered someone is insane. There is literally no reason why Sonya Massey shouldn't be alive right now. The fact that this, how many videos of black women murdered in America are we going to see? In their own home. In their own home. Call an officer for help when you literally have a burglar and you get murdered. And he doesn't even let the other officer administer medical aid. He literally says, "She's done, it's a headshot." You don't even let the other officer help. And referring to another human being anyway, saying, "It's done. It's done." Oh my God.
Trigger warning, this is not the kind of video I wanted to make today. I'm sure all of you are aware, 36-year-old black American woman named Sonya Massey was brutally unalived by being pew-pewed 3 times, including once in the face by an Illinois sheriff deputy named Sean Grayson. Now, Sean has been in 6 police departments in the last 4 years. He was convicted at age 21 and 22 of DUI and was still able to get jobs in the police force with all these DUIs. Now, we're not sure the reasons why he left all these departments. He said it because he was only getting part-time hours. Maybe that because the quality of his policing was bad. I don't know, but police departments kept hiring him, and now he's facing first-degree murder charges. Has been arrested as well as some other charges, and he's going to go away, I assure you. I think life without would be the appropriate punishment, but I have a feeling the man will get 20 to 25 years, the Illinois Department of Correction, unless they can tag a hate crime offense to it and make it federal. So that's what we're looking at. But the point of this whole video of me saying this, because people have been talking about Miss Massey and her death extensively, so I don't think there's anything I can add to it, except to say we really, really, really need a database for police misconduct, because I'm a convicted felon. My record's out there everywhere. It's easily searched. We have databases, registries for people that hurt kids in the bedroom. We have databases, DUIs. We have fishing license. I mean, we have databases for everything, but what we don't have a public database for is misconduct by police. If they've been charged with something, they've been fired, they've been convicted, it needs to be public record, not just for the police departments to know, but for the citizens in that community where that police officer is trying to get hired. And there needs to be some sort of public process that announces the candidates that are looking at, so we can check out the people they're wanting to hire. Because it's kind of crazy to think about, we don't know the backgrounds about the people that are being given power over us. Arrest powers, powers to shoot us, powers to arrest us, to imprison us. I just think we've kind of gotten sideways in our system, and I'm not sure how we go about fixing this, but a database for police misconduct that has public access would be a great step. What do you think?
I just watched the Sonya Massey video. What? All of them. All of the fucking police must be just abolished. What in the absolute fuck? I rebuke you in the name of Jesus in a joking way. Because she is just, "Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." You better fucking not. I'll shoot you in the fucking face, he says. That psychopathic piece of shit. She then got so frightened, she held the pot up. Because she's, oh my God. She said it so nonchalantly, like just kidding around. "Oh, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." I would have laughed, be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." That fucking psychopath. Oh my God. I'm shaking now. I am shaking from just, she called for help. She made a joke. She got shot for a fucking joke. What the fuck is going on with these fucking fascist cops? Oh my God. This gotta be it. This just defund them all. For fuck's sake, they are a danger to humanity. They are a danger to society. She did nothing wrong and she was shot in the face. What in the, oh my God, her life is over. She made a call for help. Oh my God.
The man who did this deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. She called them for help, they had no business being in her home, and she posed no threat at any point during the video. This was another completely unjustified murder that we would have had to take the word of an officer for if the body camera footage wasn't on, which it almost wasn't. I really wanted to stay on track in this video, but it's the same conversation over and over. Why are body cameras not on the entire shift? This I don't understand. Is it like we don't have money for the storage of the data? Is it that we don't have money for backup batteries? Like, this is the only job that you can take human life and keep your job. This is the only job on the planet that has that level of power, yet we let them walk around freely. If you worked in a Ross, those cameras are on all day. It doesn't matter if the store goes empty. Like, we have money for bullets, but we don't have money to solve this very specific problem. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I watched all 36 minutes of the body camera footage, and I have like notes prepared, but like, what is there to say when this is the first option? How do we cure that? Why are these body cameras not on? The first guy had his on the entire time until someone said turn that off, which I think, again, why? The officer that took the shot turned his body camera on 21 seconds after pulling the trigger. And I know this because I looked up the body camera model, which is called an Axon 3. You might wonder sometimes when you see footage why it's silent for the first 30 seconds. This camera has a pre-buffer mode, which means when they hit the button, which is how it turns on, it backtracks 30 seconds with no audio to catch anything it might have needed to catch. They were so far into her home and conversation with her before he chose to press that button. He told the other people who showed up that I didn't have a choice, and quote unquote, that fucking bitch is crazy. He asked, as he was getting the med kit moments after he told the other officer not to, dispatch, does she have a record of being 1096, which is police code for is she crazy? This is again after he took the shot, so now we're looking to justify it before we have to retell this story. After he took the shot, the other officer said, let me grab my med kit, and he said, no need, it's in the head. 2 minutes later, he said, I'm gonna go get my kit. At the 3-minute mark, he said, I'm not even gonna waste my med kit. At the 4-minute mark, the other one who was holding her head said, she's still gasping. The lack of urgency between the time when he takes the shot, walks, not runs, to the car to get his med kit. He takes the time to check with dispatch to see if she has a history. Who knows if you could have saved her life? This is not to mention the fact that 1, you did not have to do it. 2, you have low lethal options. I checked with your police force. That's not the only tool they give you. He also worked for 6 departments in a 4-year span and has had no public incidents on record. But doesn't that seem a little odd? He does have 2 DWIs, which I find suspicious. They were dropped down to a misdemeanor, but do we learn nothing every time this happens? Do we not learn that maybe we respond with mental health training? Do we not learn that maybe our first item we reach for isn't that in the tool?
Now, I think it is very evident that the incident did not really go down well with many people. We've seen the cop there calling out her fellow peers to really be responsible. There is no need of kind of trying to be excessively brute towards somebody who was just called for help. In this case, Sonya Massey called for help, and she decided to confide on people she thought would be very much of help to her. These are the people who are paid to really take care of her in terms of giving her the needed security. But when she decides to call for their help, it's those who are supposed to protect her that really gunned her down. And this truly is something that must be looked into in a greater extent. So what really is the state of police brutality in the United States? There has been a talk of some groups of politicians trying to say that the police department needs to be defunded. That is, they should not get the funding that they continue getting because this has allowed them to continually be very careless in terms of caring about people, because they know that regardless of what happens, they are all funded and given every resources they require to do what they do. So there are those people from the school of thought that defunding police will help in eliminating this discriminative use of police brute force. But what really is the best strategy that can be adopted? I did my research and I came across an article here that I'm going to read to help us have a better understanding of the state of police brutality in the United States and what really needs to be done to help in eliminating the cases that we've seen. It is so sad that a young lady could lose her life just in this stupid way. Who was supposed to help her? It's the police. But then the police comes in and does something that is quite despicable. Let's read this and get to know what should be done. It says that the disparity in police shootings between black and white Americans is a multifaceted issue rooted in systemic, historical, and sociocultural factors. One primary factor is the historical context of racial inequality and systemic discrimination. The legacy of slavery, segregation, and institutional racism has created environments where black communities often experience higher levels of economic disadvantage, which in turn can lead to higher rates of involvement with law enforcement. So, because of historical issues, systemic discrimination that has been meted against black people, there is a sense in which the police system has been built to also discriminate against black people. And this is why you find that blacks have a hard time within the criminal justice system within America. And that is why there are many cases of blacks who have been gunned down where excessive force was used and where these kind of deaths could have been avoided. Another significant factor is the implicit biases held by some police officers. Studies have shown that racial biases can affect decision making, leading to higher use of force against black individuals. These biases, whether conscious or unconscious, can influence how officers perceive threats and decide to act in high-pressure situations. And I think this is the same case of Sonya Massey. This sheriff deputy seems to have had an innate racial bias against Sonya. And that is why, regardless of the fact that she was carrying just a pot of water, the officer thought that this was a threat to him and therefore decided to use excessive force. But this just comes from the fact that there has been a racial bias that is instilled in whites within America to make them have this thought that a black person with anything in their hands could be very harmful or even dangerous to them. So I think this is the ground from which this guy was coming from. But it is a bias that needs to really be eliminated. I think also to eliminate this, police force or the police officers must be taken through refresher courses to make them understand how they can relate with their communities around them. Moreover, the over-policing of predominantly black neighborhoods exacerbates the likelihood of encounters with law enforcement. High arrest rates and frequent interactions with police in these areas increase the probability of conflict and subsequently the potential for violent outcomes. You can see that from this article alone, it is evident that black communities have been to some extent over-policed, where the system has been put in such a way that it thinks black people are a threat and therefore they must be subjected to over-policing that really makes them be a target for many, many bad things. So this is something that must also be checked into. Systemic issues within the criminal justice system also play a role. Disparities in legal representation, sentencing, and the broader judicial processes contribute to the higher rates of incarceration and criminalization of black individuals. This systemic imbalance often leads to a heightened likelihood of violent encounters with law enforcement agencies. It is all in the systemic arrangement of policing structures within America. It has been set in such a way that no matter where you go to, no matter how you look at it, no matter the angle you face it with, you will always find that black people are highly disadvantaged when it comes to policing and even criminal justice system, both through the courts, both through representation by attorneys, both through policing and everything that goes with it. You find that they are highly disadvantaged, and this can really make violent encounters be high in black neighborhoods. Lastly, media portrayal and societal attitudes towards crime can perpetuate stereotypes that disproportionately affect black communities. These stereotypes can influence both public perception and police behavior, leading to more aggressive policing tactics in these areas. And therefore, addressing these issues require comprehensive reforms, including better training for law enforcement, community engagement, and broader societal changes aimed at reducing systemic inequalities. So, the long and short of it is that systemic inequalities exist in America. And for this to end, there is need for all sectors to come together and have a multi-sectoral approach to eliminate the inequalities that exist in American system. It is so sad that a young lady had to lose her life in such a stupid manner, but I think these are acts that confirm to us that blacks are highly endangered. No matter where you look at, black people are always under threat. And that is something that must be checked. And let's hope that the death of this innocent lady will bring sense into major law enforcement agencies and also the ruling elite to develop better laws that can help in addressing such kind of issues. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this topic. And if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also share. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.